Namaskaram. Now, why the search for Agastya Muni? We grew up listening to stories about Agastya Muni, Kalaripayattu, the martial arts, the Siddha tradition. All this we know came from Agastya Muni. And where I come from, just 30-40 kilometers as the crow flies, is where Agastya Kudam, where Agastya Muni is said to have left his physical body. So growing up with such legends, we know that the contribution of Agastya Muni to this culture and to this land is phenomenal, and somewhere we haven't documented it, we haven't recorded it. This is being slowly sidelined, the story and the legend of Agastya Muni. So I decided to search. As I had watched many videos about rituals and temples of Southeast Asia, that Agastya Muni's footprint must have been influencing the culture of this land. So in 2019, I came to Bali. It was just on the surface, scratching, found 2 statues in 2 different temples, and that was it. And rest online searching gave me a few tips. So I decided that I should come back and then shoot and explore a little more. And that's why this trip in 2024 happened. So through a common friend, I met Sari, and she lives in Ubud. I just called her 2-3 days ago before I landed here, and I asked her, is there any festivity or rituals that are happening that I could shoot? And she just listed a few things.
Now is preparing. It symbolized to cut off the dead body.
From the day I landed, for the next 5 days, it was totally packed, and a flood of information started coming. Through another friend, I got introduced to Mr. Sugi Lanus, who was doing extensive research on manuscripts from this area, from this land. And he has been doing this for 30 years. And he, in the last few years, has been drawn towards Agastya Muni. Even his house he has named as Agastya Griha. So when I got to meet him, it opened up a lot of things. Practitioners of Hinduism in Java and Bali, we interacted with them, and we also got to visit lots of temples in Bali and Java and interact with researchers, research scholars, which opened up lots of new things. One thing that you'll notice here, especially in Indonesia, is the culture of the people. How they bow down, how they are meticulous, the cleanliness. This is, I think, comes because of a certain upbringing and a certain culture and tradition, which the moment we distance ourselves from or we lose it from our day-to-day life is when we become uncivilized. Although we think we are getting more civilized by modernization, we are actually moving away from it. And that becomes evident when you come and look at rural parts of Indonesia and even in cities. The way the airport and the railway stations are kept, the trains are maintained, how the people are, the bullying, the pushing, the race is less evident here. But that comes from the culture that has been preserved here. Although the religion is one aspect, which is majorly Muslim, Islamic, but the tradition has been kept alive. They know from where they have come. And this is a part of their history books. Even in the Prambanan temple where we visited, we saw lots of tourists, local tourists and students being brought there to explain to them the history of their origins or their past. And I think that has inculcated a certain culture and a civilized nature of these people that needs to happen much more. I think there is lots to learn for the people of Bharat from here, the Southeast Asian countries. And that's something that I want to bring in this series, apart from the life and the legend of Agastya Muni. Because Agastya Muni is somebody who brought in this culture. The similarities that I see in Bharat and in Indonesia is only because of the cultural fabric that was woven, the spirituality, how it was woven into the culture of this nation. Nations were territories that were drawn much later. Earlier, it was just one big landmass with different kingdoms. These yogis and sages walked across these kingdoms and did whatever they needed to do with the people of those times. And I think there is lots for us to learn from and inculcate in our day-to-day life to make our life better and to become better human beings. It has been a tiring travel. The heat and the humidity is killing. Especially if you want to carry all these luggages and camera bags and walk around. It's just totally draining. But it was worth the effort. I'm glad I made this trip now because it has given a good perspective as to how to start this whole series. We as a culture of people never invested in recording history. We have been bad at it because we invested more in our experience. The experiential aspect of life was what was given importance to. And because of that, we didn't record much about the surface happenings of what happened when in our lives. That being the disadvantage, today looking back, a phenomenal being like Agastya Muni is being discarded as a mythological figure. So this effort is to document his life right from his birth place, which is Kashi, down throughout the land of Bharat, tip of the land, Kanyakumari, then Sri Lanka, then Malaysia, Singapore, Southeast Asia, Cambodia, Thailand, Vietnam, and Indonesia. This used to be Akhanda Bharat. This is the effort that we are trying to do. We don't know to what extent we'll be able to cover. Those of you, whoever knows about any information about Agastya Muni in your locality, please do message me and we will try including that as a part of the series. I've been posting lots of posts on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube community posts, and I thought I should update you because there's been a flood of information. It will take at least a month or two to imbibe it, to process it, and then come up with a structure. I'm very excited about this. This is something that we want to leave behind for posterity. Agastya Muni, his contribution to humanity cannot be spoken in words. We'll look at it in great detail in the series. Namaskar.